Resentment, a feeling of anger towards somebody because you have been forced to do something you did not want to do. That's the definition of resentment, and that was my definition of resentment until I realized that actually I'm never forced to do anything, but rather I choose, mostly unconsciously, to prioritize other people's wants and needs above my own. And that's why I was feeling resentment, because yes, I was doing things that I didn't want to do, but it wasn't because I was being forced, but rather I was unconsciously choosing other people's priorities above my own. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you 2 things that you can start doing today that will help you overcome your feelings of resentment. The first thing is expressing and honoring your needs with compassion. And the second thing is feeling comfortable with the other person being upset when you do express and honor your needs and boundaries. I've used myself as a personal example to explain how they work. I'm self-employed and my partner is also self-employed, and so throughout the week we have pockets of flexibility where we can, we have downtime, we can do our own thing. And she's very strong-willed and she has no problem asking for what she wants. So in the beginning of our relationship, she would want to spend time and maybe work together throughout the week, and that was okay to begin with, but I soon noticed that I could easily get distracted, right? A 5-minute cuddle session could turn into a 30-minute cuddle session and a chat and a cup of tea, and then suddenly I've spent 2 hours not working on what I wanted to work on. And so I set a boundary. I expressed a boundary, which was between Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, I would focus exclusively on my work, on my business, meaning that we wouldn't be able to see each other within that time. And at first that went okay, but she's strong-willed, and so she simply asked from time to time, hey, can we do something at 4 p.m. on a Tuesday, or can we meet up at 3 p.m. on a Thursday? And without realizing, I was saying yes to these requests. And so then I would end up doing things that I hadn't planned to do or I didn't want to do. And I've noticed that I would start to feel some resentment, some bitterness, because I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. But in those examples, I wasn't forced to do those things, but rather I was unconsciously choosing to prioritize what she wanted to do above what I wanted to do. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoy spending time with my partner, of course. However, I had been clear that within those set times, I would focus on my needs and work on my business. I had determined that, but I wasn't honoring those needs. And I suppose I was bitter because I was somehow expecting her to take responsibility for those needs of mine, when of course it's really my responsibility. At the end of the day, I'm the chief executive officer of maintaining my needs and boundaries. The buck stops with me. And so this is where the first principle, if you like, comes into play. When I express my needs and boundaries with compassion, then there is no chance of me doing something I don't want to do, which means I won't build up resentment. And so with my girlfriend, I had to be very firm and just be like, hey, of course I enjoy spending time with you, but Monday to Friday, 9 to 6, this is when I need to work on my business. And even if we do spend time together, if she makes a request of me because maybe she's forgotten what I've asked, maybe she's forgotten that I've set that boundary and she makes a request, I just need to remember to be firm and clear, but also compassionate in how I express it and say, between these hours, I can't hang out. And the way I do that with compassion is I don't just say, no, sorry, I can't hang out, but I give a reason, an explanation, because then at least she's able to empathize with what I'm needing, right? Because without that, then I'm kind of like leaving her in the dark if I don't explain why it is that I want to have this space within this time. So I'm also thinking about what she might be feeling and what she might be needing, which is clarity about why I don't want to spend time with her. So that's how I express it with compassion. But it's important that I not only express my needs and my boundaries, but I also honor it, so that if she does try to ask and knock on the door of my boundary, that I'm very clear that actually no, I can't do this. And so that protects me from doing something I don't want to do. And then the second thing, which is almost a byproduct of the first, is being comfortable with the other person being upset, because invariably when my partner asks for me to spend time with her and I say no, there are times when she's going to be upset because she wanted to spend time with me, and that's fair enough. And I realized that before, if I saw her and I saw her sad face and she looked upset, I would sometimes overlook what it was I wanted to then spend time with her. And then it's in that space where I'm not actually doing what I want to do, and I'm actually sacrificing or compromising what I wanted to do so that I don't have to feel uncomfortable with her being upset. And of course that isn't good for me, and it's not good for her. It might be good for her in a short run because we get to spend time together, but over time, if I build resentment and bitterness because I think that I'm being made to do something I don't want to do, then that resentment will reflect in our relationship. So it's important that I feel comfortable with her being upset whenever I do express and honor my boundaries. And so it's a very important thing to be aware of, that when you do become better and good and skilled at expressing and honoring your boundaries, the second part of that is being okay with the other person being upset. And a part of that is not just ignoring or neglecting their feelings and needs, but it's holding space for them. So it's about me holding space for my partner and validating how she's feeling if she is upset that we can't spend time together. It's not about saying, well, listen, that's your problem that you feel upset, these are my boundaries, but rather to acknowledge how she feels, to validate how she feels, and even work together, negotiate on how we can spend time on another day or at another time. And so when I do those two things, when I, number one, express and honor my needs and boundaries with compassion, and two, I allow myself to become comfortable with the other person being upset and holding space for them, then I find that there really is no space to build up any resentment, because there isn't an opportunity for me to be doing something I don't want to do. And so that effectively frees me from feeling resentment. And so there you are. Those are two things that you can try starting today: expressing and honoring your needs and boundaries, and being comfortable with the other person being upset when you do. If you do try those two things, let me know how you get on. I would love to hear your experiences. And if you found any value in this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. If you're interested in improving your communication or interpersonal relationship skills, then consider subscribing to this channel, because that's exactly what this channel is about. And I've been Mike. You've been beautiful. I'll see you on the next video. And until then, remember, you are eternally unique.